live. Today I have the honor of interviewing Prince Powerule of the Leftovers NYC. He is one of the first Latino hip hop artists ever signed to a major record label. He's released classic albums and has worked with a who's who within hip hop. We're gonna bring him in to talk about his storied career, how he got started in music, what he's doing now with the Leftovers NYC, the Puerto Rican Day Parade that just happened, and so many other things. My bro.
What's up, man?
Thank you so much.
How's it going, man?
I'm good, my brother. Thank you.
No problem.
Truly. You know, it's one thing to listen to your new material, but in doing research to this and going back and listening to Brick in the Wall and in the first album, and what an incredible career that you've had. What I love to do in these interviews, especially with somebody that has the career that you have, is to take it back first and talk about how you got started in music, and to make sure that we cover that part, and then we organically work our way up to everything you got popping off now, because you got a lot popping off now.
Absolutely.
Tell us about your involvement in hip hop and how you got started.
My involvement in hip hop was pretty much organic because I grew up in a neighborhood in it's called Shadyville, Queens, and you know, predominantly black neighborhood. I grew up in a Puerto Rican household and went to a white school system. So I was exposed to many different types of genres of music. Hip hop was just emerging when I was a kid in the late 70s and early 80s. It was becoming very prominent. You know, I ran around with dynamic rockers and stuff like that on 168th and Hillside, and was exposed through breakdancing first. It was my first love of hip hop. I wasn't that good, so I naturally am a writer. I've been writing since I was a little kid and doing short stories and things like that. And it was just a natural progression where I needed to find my place in hip hop. And my place in hip hop was through writing. And then being that I do have a certain amount of musicality, the emceeing thing, you know, I just slid in and got a little bit better and better, and then got to the point where, you know, I was rocking at park jams and rocking basement parties and, you know, freestyling on the corner, you know, rapping in the parks, you know, picturesque hip hop thing that you would dream about. I lived it.
Wow. Yeah, you got a dope voice.
Oh,
Your voice is really dope. I mean, when you listen to it back in the days, and this happens with a lot of artists, they had maybe one hit wonder or something like that. But now, even with the latest material you've released, your voice is so distinguishable. You immediately hear it. You sound like an MC. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just.
Well, you know, it was weird for me because I'd never really liked my voice. I knew it was distinctive and different.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like I wanted to sound more like the other MCs that were out, but I just can't change it. This is my voice, and you know, I learned to embrace it, and you know, now I like it. You know, and it makes me stand out from everyone else.
Yeah. Well, you started really young. I mean, when your first video, Bricks in the Wall, comes out,
well,
like
Smooth was first. Smooth came out in '89.
Yeah, I mean, how old were you back then? Because you guys were.
I actually started, you know, I was rhyming in the neighborhoods and everything like that way before that came out. So I actually was seasoned a little bit already before I came out. So I was already like 22 years old when I came out then. So, you know, but I was already rhyming at 18 years old. And like I said, in park jams and parties and things like that.
Wow. And
because it was a little bit more difficult for us because, you know, hip hop really didn't think that an all Latino rap group that didn't rap in Spanish was marketable.
Yeah.
So a lot of people didn't want to sign us. So we had to go make our bones, go around town, destroy dudes, and then we ended up coming out independently because no one believed in us. But once we dropped in '89 with Smooth, all of that changed, and then they understood that what we was doing was organic and it was marketable, and it was something that everybody really liked, of all races and all creeds and colors.
Yeah, I would say that you absolutely opened doors. You know, there were I'm not sure, and this is one of the things that, and I don't want it to be controversial in any way, but you were definitely one of the first Latino hip hop groups signed to a major label. Were you the first?
You know, it's debatable. I mean, a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
I'll take it, you know. But there might have been somebody, maybe they just didn't come out at that
Yeah.
time or something, or
Yeah.
it didn't work out or whatever. Somebody might have had something penned on paper that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
But visibly for the world to see,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Because I was on Interscope with Tupac. We were the first two rap groups signed to Interscope. So
Wow.
I was already doing my thing for 2 years independently from '89 to '90. I was destroying, you know, your BETs, your MTVs, Video Music Box, the box, all the local radio stations, national radio stations, and then that's when Interscope approached me to sign a major deal.
Yeah. I
But we had
remember,
to work hard for that.
and that's, you know, I remember being a young Latino kid in love with hip hop
Mm.
and seeing Power Rule, and then later seeing Curious, and then later seeing Fat Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Me feeling that kinship, but it was definitely you, my bro. I
Yeah,
remember very early and seeing the videos on Yo MTV Raps,
right.
and knowing the role that Latinos had played in breakdancing, in graffiti, in DJing, and not really seeing the representation in the actual art of rhyming, but
Mm-hmm.
loving hip hop music
Mm-hmm.
and seeing you opening those doors. And now, I mean, hip hop is so massive amongst Latinos, so many Latino rappers, and then in Latin America, right? It's just massive, you know.
Right.
But you definitely paved the way, opened doors for so many artists, and gave people hope, something that they could identify with, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
salute to
definitely
you on that.
I've been approached by a lot of people and I've told me that, and you know, I didn't really embrace it in the beginning, you know, but now that you know, I have a better understanding of myself and a better understanding of life in general,
Yeah.
I know that that was an important part. And when people create dialogue with me and tell me their stories about the first time they saw Power Rule on BET or MTV or heard it on the radio, it's a blessing, man, and I really love it. And you know, I accept that role now. You know, a lot of people, every single interview I do, they say how I opened up the doors, and you know, for the most part, it's true because I was very visible at that time. And you know, you had your Mellow Man Aces and Kid Frost, but they rhymed in Spanish and in English.
Yeah.
It wasn't, like I said, a lot of record companies didn't think it was marketable for you to be Latino and just rhyme in English. But I definitely shattered that myth.
Yeah, you did.
And you know, yes, and I'm glad that I was able to broaden their minds and have them understand that definitely that we're here and we've been a part of hip hop since the beginning. So why not give somebody like us a shot? So I'm grateful that I was able to open up doors for brothers like Curious, Fat Joe, Beat Nuts, Pun, you know,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And
Yeah.
I was friends and still am friends with a lot of those guys and everything. So, you know, it's an honor to be that guy. You know, this is Hip Hop 50, right? So I think I played a pretty important role in Hip Hop 50. So the more people can get that information out, because you know a lot of information gets lost throughout time, and you know, you forget about certain individuals. So yeah, and piece of Microphone Prince too as well. But you know, my idol was Tito from the Fearless Four. So you
Yeah.
know, he was in he was my idol. Well, I remember I was in a place called United States of America in Queens, and people used to go there to break dance and stuff like that. And Fearless Four came out, and once Tito stepped on the stage and all the girls were screaming, I was just like, that's what I want to do right
I would
there.
do that. Yeah.
So it changed me forever. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out for Tito for his inspiration, and brothers like Prince Marky D,
Yeah.
who was definitely an inspiration to me. And they set it up for me to come out and bring Power Rule to the world.
Yeah. Yeah. For people who don't know and don't understand, people from other parts of the world, from other parts of the country, can you explain the meaning of Powerule?
Oh, Powerule comes, it's derived from the 5% Nation of Islam. And it's around my neighborhood when I was growing up. They never used to say, they used to be like, yo, Mira, yo, what up, Mira? But once the God culture got immersed in the community, they started calling us Powerule, because P in the supreme mathematic alphabet is power and the R is rule. So they just put that together. Instead of calling us PR, they was just like, yo, what up, Powerule? So when I first started developing the group with my boy Johnny J and my boy Big House, we went through a couple of names, but it was my boy Pancho who was down with Dynamic Rockets. He says, everybody calls you Powerule, just call yourselves Powerule. And boom, I was just like, yo, that's a dope name.
Yeah.
So, it had a meaning where, only certain people really understood and knew what that meant. And if you didn't, then you had to go back and figure it out. So it was a win-win for the culture.
Yeah, that's dope. And the Dynamic Rockers, the breakdancing crew. Yeah. For people who don't know who they are, the breakdancing crew.
Oh, yeah, the breakdancing crew. Yeah, Dynamic Rockers. Rocksteady Crew's rivals back in the days. They had classic battles at Lincoln Center that were broadcast on national television, and That's Incredible episodes.
Yeah.
It was a big thing. So I'm glad that I wasn't at that particular battle. Like I got down with them later, but all of those things make the individual that I am today. I actually can tell those stories. I've seen the conception of it. Like I said, I've stood on a street corner with a 40, with a boom box, with a spray can in my jacket, and and just feeling the city vibrating with the energy of hip hop.
Yeah.
I lived that every single day. And the element of crime around, New York City was wild back then.
Oh yeah.
So, there was a lot of things that culminated, but it made such a beautiful tapestry.
Yeah. The you released Smooth and then Bricks on the Wall. Talk to us about the record deal, getting signed to Interscope, and that first Powerule album.
Well, like I said, it was a journey for us for like 2 years. He came out with Smooth that did extremely well on the radio, nationally. We were on all sorts of charts and stuff like that. Big up to DJ Red Alert, and big up to my man Wildman Steve, and big up to Marley Marl. All those dudes played us. Your WBAU, WBLS, 98.7 Kiss, Teddy Ted and Special K, the Awesome 2. All those dudes supported us. And it just grew and grew. And then we came out with Brick in the Wall. And it really wasn't a radio record. I'm very heavily rock influenced.
Yeah.
So that was something that I always wanted to do, was to sample Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
And it didn't do as well on the radio, but video-wise, it exploded even bigger than Smooth. And so, in a sense, video reached more people than what radio did. Because people are always like fixed on videos back then. So, I got a lot of national and global attention, and that's when, my man Bobito Garcia, Cool Bob Love, he told me that this record company was interested in us, and rest in peace, Jerry Davis, and big up to Carmelita Sanchez for getting us signed over there to Interscope. It was great. Hold on a second, my dog is going crazy. Hey, Puma, stop.
I got two of them, man. I got two Huskies. If they were here right now.
Yeah.
So,
did she get jealous?
Brick in the Wall independently? Like, did you do
that
video
was independent as well.
The video too.
Before I even signed to Interscope, I had already hosted BET and was on Yo MTV Raps and all that stuff. They didn't do any of that. We got that all on our own.
Wow.
So it was a big deal.
Yeah. Wow. And then when you get on Interscope, and you start working on the album, you guys produced most of that first album, right?
We did. I'll tell you honestly, I was approached by Large Professor, DJ Premier at that time, and they all would have done the whole album, but I kind of wanted it to be in the same vein as their projects, so like a EPMD, a Jungle Brothers, De La Soul, Public Enemy. Everybody had their own sound. Nobody copied each other's sound back then. that was the beauty of my generation of hip
Yeah.
hop. If you copied somebody else, you were a biter.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's no biting allowed. So
Yeah.
we wanted to do it ourselves, but in retrospect, man, I wish that I would have, well, I did do one song with Large Professor. It came out great, Gots to Get This, which he also featured on. But I wished, you know, we were a little bit, you know, young to production and everything. I think there's a lot of good songs on there.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people agree, but it probably would have went to a different level if I would have worked with the other guys, but I'm happy with the way it is, man. That's just the way it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I mean, back then, today we know who Premier is. Today
Right.
we know the levels the Large Professor, you know, reached. Back then they were dope, but nobody knew they'd become, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So,
Well, you know, I mean, I could tell right from the beginning, you know, and, you know, I came out in '89 and Gangstar came out in '89 and we'd be doing shows around town and everything like that. So we got familiar and everything. Rest in peace to Keith Guru. You know, he was a good friend of mine. We used to hang out a lot. And but you know, that's the class that I came out in. You know, Brand Nubian came out in '89. I came out in '89. NWA came out in '89. I remember being on you know, video talk shows, and they'd ask me what video you want to see, and I'd say I want to see Straight Outta Compton, and they'd buzz out. But you know, I totally related to that. You know, NWA, Public Enemy, those are like a big part of who I am now, that I realize I would have wanted to be more like them and more on a political forefront instead of just making joints. But that's what I've achieved now with the Leftovers NYC.
Yeah.
That's a culmination of all the years of me being in hip hop and me growing up as a man. And this is the way that I want to represent myself now.
yeah, yeah. And you do that with the most recent album, LeBron,
Yes.
Lolita LeBron, right? So you
That's
get
right.
political, and you know, so many of the tracks you talk about, Jose Feliciano. I
Yes.
took a little clip off of that.
Felipe Luciano.
Felipe Luciano, and the political things that he's saying. So yeah, so you're doing that with your music now.
Right.
On the second album, you did get a chance to work with Lord Finesse. You
Yeah.
worked with a Large Professor on that.
Yeah.
That was a dope experience.
Also Team Demo, also Ayatollah, also Beat Nuts. Who am I forgetting? Yeah, Team Demo, Beat Nuts, Large Professor, Ayatollah, Lord Finesse, ourselves. If I forget somebody, I'll remember. But yeah, you know, yeah, that Anomaly Reloaded album is great, and you have features with Thurston Howard III, and you know, Psycho Les is on there. You know, there's a lot of great joints on there, and I'm very proud of that project.
Yeah, it's a dope project.
Yeah. Oh, also my man, super producer, Self-Service, man. I cannot forget my boy. I grew up with him in Shadyville.
That's dope, man. Now talk to us about what you're working on now. The Leftovers NYC. Talk to us about that the movement.
Well, it's basically constructed like a Public Enemy or like a Rage Against the Machine. You know, there's a lot of political overtones, you know, but there's still a lot of street stuff.
Yeah.
But Leftovers NYC isn't just myself. It's a collective of individuals that do all various types of things. We also have MCs that are down with it, but, you know, you have my man Sunez Allah that holds it down with the writing and the teachings. You know, you have my boy Benny Blanco, who, you know, deals with a lot of the promotional aspects. You have my man Sick Boy Vision, who deals with a lot of graphic art. You have my man Barbito Ross, who does merchandise, graphic art, and spreads out for the culture. Those guys aren't doing MC type things, but they're doing a lot of other things surrounded. My man Sharif Got Profit. He's another individual that deals with merchandise and promotions and getting the word out there about the Leftovers NYC. And then, of course, you know, you have the MCs that are down with us, which is Mighty Buddha and my man Phil Ortiz. So, you know, I don't think I forgot anybody, because sometimes I do.
I know, right? It's a lot of people. But
I'm gonna look in the live and see if I forgot anybody. But yeah, you know, there's a bunch of us, and we have a lot of other dudes on deck, man, that are coming up, man. You know, you got my man Jacob Santana, man. You got my man Polo Baby Flacco. You know, we just try to get younger and younger. You know what I'm saying? So I inject a lot of youth into what this is, because my perspective on life isn't the only perspective, and I don't stay narrow-minded. So I like to hear what the youth have to say and sit down and build with them in order for us. Oh, and I forgot, of course, who I started the Leftovers with is DJ Talene. And he used to be a dancer for Grand Poobah, the SOS Dancers. But now he's an incredible DJ, and he DJs all over the place. But all of us together create the Leftovers NYC. But more importantly, the glue of the group is my man Toast 187 Johnson. Toast 187, and get well, Toast 187 Johnson. Toast 187 does everything. He does video, he does production. You know, he's got ideas, he's got imagery. And me and him share a lot of the same beliefs and ideals. So it works so fantastically. So, you know, none of this really would be possible without Toast, because Toast is somebody that just stumbled. He knew who Powerule was, but he stumbled onto our video online, and he told me, he sent me a message on YouTube, and he says, this might be the most important group out right now. And once he said that, I was just like, boom, all right, cool. People are getting the message. And, you know, we've been around for like about 4 years now, and the message is getting stronger and stronger, and more people from different states and different parts of the world, you know, they identify with being a leftover is, because gentrification is destroying the fabric of cities. You know, New York City is not the same New York City anymore. You know, it was beautiful to go to the Puerto Rican Day Parade on Sunday and be on the float, then go to Williamsburg and everybody's outside in the street and they're cooking free food and we're hanging out and we're blasting music. That's New York City for that day. But most of the time, it's some gentrifier and colonizer that's telling you to turn down your music and doesn't even associate with you on a day-to-day basis and just walks right by you. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to zap the real New York out of New York. And that's how the Leftovers name came about. The name came about because a neighbor of mine was moving. My friend was downstairs. She was helping him move. And he had been there for 25 years and seen his kid grow up on that block and, you know, had a real, you know, connection to that block. But, you know, the rents got too high. He wasn't the type of person that was able to buy a home, but he was the type of person that was responsible and paid rent. They kicked him out, and then he said to my friend, he said, you know what they call us? And she said, what? They call us the Leftovers. This is what the colonizers call us. So she came back upstairs and told me. I took that super offensively, like if you was calling me a nigga or a spick. And then, but like we do, I turn a negative into a positive, and now we the Leftovers NYC, and what? Hey, baby, don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't be jealous. We'll be done soon, baby girl. Don't worry about it.
Thank you for sharing that. I think it's important for people to understand, because, you know, the production's incredible. Your lyrics are dope. And a lot of people, they're just used to like bobbing their head and not really picking up the message. But you're truly talking about gentrification. You're talking about be awake. You know, in your music videos, you're showing the locations, right? You're like, look at these different spots in NYC. Let's not lose the culture. Let's not lose who we are.
Absolutely. Like I said, they're trying to zap the New York out of us, but we ain't going down without a fight, baby. You know, this is what we do. And we're going to continue to do it. And like I said, we just get stronger and stronger every day. A lot of people are affected by this. Gentrification is like a silent genocide. It just happens so tranquil. But then before you know it, you look around, there's fucking 5 coffee shops. There's fucking, 5 consignment shops, 3 wine stores, and there's no more bodegas. There's no more, Spanish food restaurant. There's no soul food spot. There's no Jamaican spot. You know what I'm saying? So they're taking that all away from us. But like I said, Leftovers NYC is on the forefront, and we ready to go, and we ready to fight this battle, baby.
The name of the first Leftovers NYC album is engraved in New York.
Absolutely.
And there's a picture of the Statue of Liberty, right? And
no, that might have been a promo, but the actual cover is me sleeping on a fire escape with a pillow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Meaning they're raising the rents. People can't afford to live there anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, engraved in New York, man. If you sleeping on a fire escape, you engraved in New York. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. The in through the Leftovers NYC, and on top of the music, on top of the videos and the message that you're spreading through the music, are you all actually getting involved politically?
I mean, yeah, this is our part of being political, and us being a part of a solution, opening up a conversation, because there's a lot of other people that they may go march and they may go to rallies and they do that stuff. Yes, I have done that thing, but I reach so many more people by my music.
Yeah.
My music is global, so what better way to be a part of the fight than releasing music that's conscious and talks about what's going on? That's the part that we play.
Yeah, yeah. The one track that you have that's called Felipe Luciano, produced by
Right.
Team Demo,
Mhm.
which samples him at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Jíbaro,
Yeah.
mi negro lindo.
Lindo.
Well, that joint is so
That's
banging,
right.
right? And he talks about the message of how, in essence, and I see this happening a lot now, they try to divide people by labeling us.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? They want to label us and divide us.
Divide and conquer. Divide and
Divide and
conquer.
conquer.
It's been doing that since the beginning of time.
Yeah. Talk to us about that track that you did with Curious, the idea behind it, and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Team Demo sent me the beat. I thought it was hot. They allow me the ability to add little pieces on stuff. So we have a great rapport like that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, what does this track need? Like, what do I want to say? And then I came across a very famous speech by Felipe Luciano when he was on a fire escape, and he said this whole speech. And then I came across like a deaf poetry segment where he was doing the speech again.
Wow.
And then I was just like, wow, that'd be an incredible introduction. And I grew up on Felipe Luciano. He used to be on the news. He was a reporter.
Wow.
And before that, he was part of the Young Lords movement. So he's official. So I just integrated that into it, and then throw a little bit of Bobito Ross in the middle, giving his little speech, and throw my man Curious, who's like my best friend, on there. It was a winning combination. And there's a little piece in there that people don't know that I threw Rage Against the Machine in the rally. That wow, wow, chicka, wow, wow, chicka, wow, wow. That's Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. The album that y'all just released, the most recent album, Lebron, right? It comes from Lolita Lebron.
Right.
Talk to us about what she did, why you named the album that energy.
Well, that's a person that really was affected by what was going on, and how the United States was treating Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And all the atrocities that the United States has done to Puerto Rico over the years. Going way back to my grandmother was in Puerto Rico, and she was a part of pharmaceutical testing for birth control. My grandmother lost like her first 3 kids because of those tests. Those tests went on, and people didn't really know about it, but they were going on. And then, things like the Jones Act, where, we can't get any goods delivered directly into Puerto Rico. It has to go to Jacksonville, Florida, be unloaded and then sent to Puerto Rico. Them taking away all the sugarcane fields from us and making them their own. There's so many things. And, I guess Lolita had enough.
Yeah.
And she had to make something that was dramatic, and shooting up Congress was her choice. And, that's that. Sometimes it takes a radical idea and a radical action in order for people to pay attention.
Yeah. And the idea of naming the album that, what's
Right.
the thought about that?
Well, it's in celebration of her, because, this is our way of taking a radical action. We're making this music. This music isn't commercial. It's not something that's in vogue. Who talks about these things? I don't see any other group out there talking about gentrification on the front lines and injustice, and it's still, classism. We do that. I have no interest in being a pop guy or anything like that. Like I said, I'm the man that I am now. And when I walk out the door, I want to feel that what I do is respected, and
Yeah.
other people will respect me. And now you have an insight of who I am. And you know, if you're down with it, cool. Congratulations. Thank you. I'm all with it. I love your support. But if you're not, that's all right. Go do you, you know? But this is for a specific type of person and a certain type of mindset. Someone who's elevated to the level that I feel that I'm on. This would be attractive to them. And those are the type of people that I want to listen to my music and appreciate my music.
It's beautiful, man. Yeah, it's hip hop and you're using your gifts and your skills.
Yeah.
But it's also bigger than hip hop. It's what's happening in the community.
Absolutely.
It's impacting kids and abuelitas and
That's right.
for generations.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's why I say Public Enemy, to me, Public Enemy is the greatest group of all time. Whether it's rock, pop, disco, anything, I think they're the greatest group of all time. Chuck D is incredible. We happen to be friends and everything, and we have something coming out soon as well. You know, I remember I was on an interview recently, and I said, "Oh well," Chuck popped into the interview, and then it was on the Davey Show, you know, with my man Flatline from Hip Hop Gods, and Chuck popped into the interview, and I was just like, "Chuck, man, I structured the group like, you know, like we the new Public Enemy." I was like, "Oh no, I didn't mean the new Public Enemy because you know Public Enemy's still here," and he says, "No, always feel good to say you're the new Public Enemy," because he says Public Enemy was an idea and it was supposed to metastasize itself to the community. So I got his blessings, and that's great. So you know, hey man, Chuck D down with Leftovers NYC, being on the float on the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Big up to my man from Barrio BX and my man from Carlos Classic Material. You know, I can't ask for anything more. I got my health, I got family, I got love, I got my dog. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's good, man. Like when I was with my man from Carlos from Classic Material today, and we were like, wow, what a week. We just came out of Sirius XM and we just watched this Duck Down anniversary and saw them perform live and hung out. Sunday, we was at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and now we're going to go to the Puma store and rack up and get some gear and come back home. And then I got an interview at 6 o'clock, and then I'm going to watch the Yankees versus the Mets at 7. So, yo, man, I got it good, B.
Yeah. Tell us about the Puerto Rican Day Parade. That was just like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
You were on the float. Was that your first time on the float?
There's really, you know, it's just a celebration of our culture, and it expresses the foundation that we built here in New York City. Remember, you know, my grandmother came here in 1920. There were Puerto Ricans coming here ever since then. She was working in a factory, but there were a lot of jobs. And then, you know, there was a lot of jobs all the way through World War II. But then you get post-World War II, where there was a huge wave of Puerto Ricans that came after, and there were no more jobs left. All those factory jobs were gone. All those government contracts and stuff like that were gone. So they were relegated to these certain neighborhoods, and you know, Robert Moses, that evil motherfucker, he deemed us as undesirables, and then he moved us around and put us in places, and you know, we were, you know, we couldn't get any jobs and everything like that, and it was a very difficult time for us. But you know, even after all of that, a lot of us have still risen up and made honest, good New Yorkers, New Eurekans, and good citizens and good people, where people can admire us. You know, a lot of the stereotypes is what people focus on. They focus on, like, you know, a few bad guys, but that's not our culture. So when you see the Puerto Rican Day Parade, there was no fights, there were no incidents, nothing. It was just love and a celebration of the culture, and that's who we are for the most part. You know, we're loving people, we're friendly, we'll invite you in, we'll cook you dinner. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we're a little bit loud because we're a little bit loud, and that's just the way we are. You know, people always be like, yo, talk a little bit lower. I said, for what? Why am I going to talk lower? You know what I'm saying? And I talk the way I feel like talking when I feel like talking like it. You know, it's very easy for me to put on the super educated voice and talk like this to someone. You know what I'm saying? But you know, naturally, this is just the way I talk. You know, and like I said, nobody's going to zap my New York.
That's right. That's right. You were at Sirius XM. How did that go?
Oh no, that was great, but you know, I stay up at Sirius XM. I was on DJ Eclipse show the other day. I was on Weekend Work with my man Coach Pigar, and you know, to get to it before it gets too late, you know, we got a new Powerule album that's coming out, produced by my man Toast 187.
Yeah.
And that album is coming out this summer. And that's the first Powerule album that's gonna drop since 2018. So I'm very excited about that project. So now I'm starting to make my rounds to promote that project like I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So look out for that new Powerule album, Clockwork Black. And also I call it Soul Power because he's bringing a lot of soul back.
Yeah. That's big news, man. So this is in addition to the Leftovers NYC.
Right. This year you'll see 3 projects drop. You're gonna see the Powerule album produced by Toast 187. You're gonna see another album that's produced strictly by Team Demo. You're gonna see my rock project that has my man John Stanier, Caesar, and Patrick Delaney. That's called Crime Wave Music 7. That's gonna come out. And then at the end of the year, before the new year drops, you're gonna have a new Leftovers NYC album. So you got plenty of music that's coming out.
All right, man. You just unloaded everything on us. All right.
Yeah.
You got the Powerule by Toast 187.
Right.
Is the Team Demo album gonna also be a Powerule album?
That's also going to be a Powerule album.
Produced entirely by Team Demo.
Entirely by Team Demo. My man Cosell and my man Tony Tones. Those are my boys. Love them. They're the Leftovers NYC DC.
Wow, that's right.
That's right.
And then you've got because before Powerule back in the late 80s, you were doing some rock stuff back then also.
Oh, absolutely. You know, my first passion was rock music.
Yeah.
Because you know, when I got bused to that white school system, and then I went to that keg party, and I'm out there in the baseball field, and we're tripping on mescaline, and they putting on Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, or they putting on Led Zeppelin, Zoso, and I was just like, wow, I really like this shit. You know, I got a lot of shit for it. I got a lot of shit for it from my brothers and stuff like that, and people in the neighborhood. Imagine me jumping on a bus on Springfield and Jamaica Avenue, and I'm wearing a denim jacket with a Led Zeppelin painting, fried boots, and my fucking fucked up long curly hair, jumping on a bus that was filled with fucking blunt smoke and motherfuckers pumping for, you know, all kinds of breaks and beats in the back. And then they know me because we grew up together, and they looking at me using my government just saying like, Oscar, what the fuck is wrong with you? But I didn't care. I didn't care. And I took it all the way. I took it all the way. If I didn't get in a lot of trouble in school and shit like that, my mother took that away from me. She took the ability for me to go do shows with my rock band and everything.
Yeah.
She took that away. So, you know, just so happened that at that moment, hip hop was emerging.
Wow.
And then I started seeing faces that looked like me, that the white boys that I was down with wanted to be like. And I turned around and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh shit. I look like them. They doing it. I need to get involved. So, you know, like I said, I worked my way through it. I had a little tag. I could DJ a little bit because my brother used to DJ. And, you know, then I started breakdancing, you know, but, you know, I always was a writer, like I said, since I was little and wrote with the rock group and everything like that. So I found my place in hip hop and here we are.
The rock band, are you doing vocals in the rock band?
Yeah, but it's you know, sort of like Rage Against the Machine, Public Enemy. You know, I ain't gonna come out here and start trying to sing to y'all and shit.
No, but
it's heavy though. Shit is some heavy shit.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to hear that. And what's the name of the rock band?
The rock band is called Crime Wave Music.
All right, that's dope. And then you said the 4th project at the end of the year is going to
be a Leftovers NYC album.
Man.
Yeah.
What an incredible year that you...
So you got 2 Powerule albums, Crime Wave Music, and the Leftovers NYC.
Man, that's beautiful.
I see my man official Big D up in there. What up, Big D? I can't see that good. I got bad eyes, but you know what I'm saying? That's another story entirely. But yo, people, when I don't see you and I don't recognize you right away, just know, man, my eyesight is it's just deteriorating. You know what I'm saying? So just, you know, be patient with me.
You got to get close.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You got to wait. You know, it's kind of dangerous. Luckily, I walk around with my dog, so, you know, she can sense danger before me, because that shit would be right up upon me.
If people want to find you,
Mhm.
you know, online, they want to make sure, because, you know, you just talked about 2 Powerule albums, a new rock album, a fourth, you know, the fourth album this year is going to be The Leftovers.
Right.
Where's the best place for them to follow you, to connect with you, to stay up to date with everything that you're doing?
Yeah, well, you know, obviously, you know, that's a no-brainer. You just always go to the IG.
Yeah.
Just go to the Leftovers, Leftovers _ Powerule. And then you'll find everything. And then, you know, on the icons, it says power. And then each letter, POWER, you have a connection to everything that we're doing, whether it's merchandise with classic material, or Babito Ross with La Marqueta, or Sick Boy Vision, or my man Sharif Got Profit. If you want to get wax, you go to Redline Music Entertainment, Redline Music Distribution with my man Jameson, and you can get your wax. All the links to, you know, Apple, Spotify, everything is on there. YouTube page is coming up soon too as well. But you know, you can find everything on my page, man. So reach out, man, click on it, you know, see what I want to give a shout out to One World magazine as well. The new one with Cormega on the cover.
Yeah.
That has a huge spread in the middle. Premier Hip Hop, it's Powerule, and it's written by my man Sunyaz Allah. So I would implore everybody to go pick that up. And like I said, you just go to that page and you'll find everything, and you'll come into our world.
That's dope, my bro. You know, we talked before, hip hop 50th anniversary, and we want to make sure that Powerule is remembered. The Prince Powerule is remembered as one of the first, if not the first, Latino hip hop artist signed to a major label, to Interscope Records. Who would have known that Interscope would go on to do what they did, right?
Absolutely.
And came out and added a flavor, a sazon to hip hop that was missing, right? And you did that, and you're still at it now. And I personally can't wait for the 2 albums, the Powerule albums, for the new Leftovers album, and to hear you with the raps over the rock this year. You know, salute to you, my brother. And I want to make sure, is there anything else that you want to plug before we wrap?
No, man, I just want to tell everybody out there, you know, what are the things that, you know, I like to express, because, you know, I just feel it's part of my duty and part of my journey. You know, people, take care of your mental health. You know, it can be really, really crippling and stuff like that. So don't be afraid. Like, my generation is afraid to go out there and look for help, and they feel a little embarrassed, you know, but don't listen to those people. You know, if you need some help and you got to get out of that rut and you feel stuck, you can get out of it. I'm a firm believer in therapy. I'm in therapy all the time.
Yeah.
And it's worked for me. It's working, you know, it's a work in progress. And it's something that I totally stand by, because I've seen a lot of individuals that mental illness will get in their way of, you know, living out their dreams or just leading a regular productive life. So go out there, reach out, man. You could DM me if you got issues. I'll give you some answers. You know what I'm saying? I'm there for the people. If it's something like that, anything, man, you know, you DM me. I have people that DM me about lots of different issues that have nothing to do with rap. You know, someone telling me, hey, I was locked down, the music got me through. Yo, I'm not doing that well physically, your music gets me through. Oh, I was in the military, your music gets me through. So I'm very approachable, you know, and I'm all about wanting to help anybody. So, you know, you got any questions like that, just DM me, and, you know, I'll get back to you when I can. But most definitely, I'll get back to you.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for sharing
No
that.
problem.
I think that a lot of, in doing these interviews and talk with a lot of creatives at a very high level, people increasingly are talking about mental health. And I think it's important for it not to be, because I grew up in an era where, like, you didn't talk about that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You had a couple of stiff drinks and that's how you dealt with life. You know what I mean? But that doesn't solve anything. That doesn't solve anything. And more, I think that people like yourself that are accomplished and respected, that people see them on TV and they listen to their music are saying like, look, it's okay to be vulnerable. We're human. Get some help. It's all right. You can reach
Absolutely.
out, you know, and that's a
No,
beautiful
listen,
thing.
man. By no means am I. I'm a work in progress, and I'll
Yeah.
continue to be a work in progress until the day that I die. But you know, it's liberating to lift some of these things and that have been seeped into your aura and your core for so long, and to release them and to see the freedom that you can have and to really enjoy life. Man, I'm the type of dude that used to just be locked up in the crib for months at a time. You know what I'm saying? I loved COVID. When COVID came out, I was like, boom, I got an excuse to stay home now. Now everybody's staying home. But you can't live that way, man. And you got to go out there and you got to challenge yourself. And I've definitely worked on that. And I'm definitely living a better quality life right now. And also, you know, the main thing is your good family and friends. That's the most important, man. If you're fortunate enough to have your family around, please embrace them and let that work for you. And have faith in the Lord too. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. I'm a very spiritual person. I don't believe in organized religion per se, but I believe in the spirit. So I go upon that. And, you know, and if you don't have your family around, because a lot of us don't have our mothers and fathers around, you know, if you got a couple of good friends, stick by them, man, and, you know, ride out with them because that's your family now.
My brother, what a dope way to wrap this up. Thank you. You know, you have. I'm gonna go listen to you some more because I've been listening to you all day. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, and you better drop a dope clip like this, man, for me to repost.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go through. It'll be on YouTube tomorrow, and I'm gonna pull some clips and put them up. You've had an incredible career, and I think the best is yet to come. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about the new music. I know Team Demo, so I'm excited about that Team Demo album.
Absolutely.
And yeah, brother, we're cheering for you.
Well, you know what? You know, it was a funny thing today. So we're up at Sirius XM. I'm with my boy from College Classic Material. And then, you know, naturally you start telling stories about what we used to do and how it was and everything like that. And I turned around and looked at him and I said, "Are you crazy, nigga? I'm about to have the fucking best summer ever."
Yeah.
Like, I'm approaching this like it's brand new.
Yeah.
I love everything that I've done. And I have respect for the people that respect it. But I have so many more things to do and so many great journeys to go on. Listen, hip hop artists are the new jazz artists. You see jazz artists playing till they're 70 years old.
That's right. That's
what we are going to be. So I'm excited about the remainder of what's to come in my life. And I'm approaching it with like full force. Like, you know, I love getting dressed and going outside and looking fly and talking shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited and I'm gonna keep this going. So we ain't going nowhere, baby. Leftovers NYC for a reason.
That's right. That's right. And you have an incredible voice, my bro.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna tell you that. You have an incredible voice. I love hip hop and I listen to hip hop nonstop. I interview hip hop artists. You have a very special voice. I just want to say that. Yeah.
I appreciate it.
So God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the time. And we'll do it again at some point in the future. And I'm really excited about the music you're about to drop.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, brother.